Hi everybody, welcome to Beginner Yoga. My name is Joanne and this is Leto. She probably won't stay with us too long. Thanks for coming out to practice today. So please find a comfortable seat on your mat and using a blanket or a prop, pillow, anything you've got handy if you need to do that in order to find length through the spine. I'm comfortable sitting on the floor, but you know, you're welcome to use, right? A cushion, a block, a pillow, anything you've got so you can find a little more length through your spine and openness in your hip joints. So if it's difficult to sit on the ground, then please use a prop. So we'll start in a nice comfortable seat. Find length through your spine. And maybe even lifting the flesh away from your sitting bones so you can find that nice tripod, that firm base that you're going to start on. And then as we begin our practice, we'll go ahead and close the eyes. Just bringing your awareness internally as you settle into your seat. And notice that the head is floating above the spine and your shoulders are above your hips. So you don't want to be leaning forward or back. And you want your pelvis to be nice and neutral. So if you're leaning forward or rounding back, check that out and then just find that nice even posture. Again, closing the eyes and part your lips so that your jaw is nice and relaxed. And we'll just sort of take an inventory of what's happening in your body and the mind. So just checking in with yourself. Noticing any tension, if there's any tension anywhere in your body, any discomfort. Noticing how you're feeling in this moment, if you feel tired or energized, or maybe you've had coffee and you feel a little angsty. So just noticing and taking note of what is happening in the body. We always want to connect with any energy that's happening, not to judge it or push it away, but just to connect to it. Noticing if the mind is wandering or if you've got a lot going on in the mind as we start our practice. And once you've taken your inventory, we'll really begin to deepen the breath. So as a reminder for yoga, we tune into the breath by starting the breath into the belly, like a baby breathes. So you really want to expand the belly as you inhale. And we move the breath up the body three-dimensionally. So the belly expands, the ribs move out to the sides, and then the chest and clavicle will rise all the way up on your inhale. So it's like a wave, three-dimensional wave through your body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out through the nose, you just reverse that wave. So chest falls, ribs come toward each other, and then we want to squeeze the navel gently toward the spine, just to press all the stale air out of the body. That should automatically reinflate your belly. So beginning to deepen the breath and see if you can kind of drop out of the mind a little bit. So we want to tune into the body here. Notice if the mind starts to wander, you can always anchor your intention into the breath and the body. And I always like to encourage folks and invite folks to set an intention or dedication for your practice. So choosing just one thing to focus on. If you have someone in your family that's sick, or maybe someone who's not doing well emotionally, you can always dedicate the practice to someone in need. It's a nice way to bring a little more meaning to your practice. Or you can just, focus on alignment for yourself, or focus on, paying attention to your breath. So choosing one area of focus and set that intention by repeating it 3 times to yourself to get that into your subconscious mind. We'll take a couple more cycles of breath here, nice, deep, expansive breaths. And as you exhale, just see if you can soften anywhere, let go of tension you might be holding anywhere in the body. Using your inhale to find space and expansion in the body. And again, the exhale, we just soften and relax. Take another deep breath in through the nose. And on your next exhale, we're just going to bow the chin to the chest, stretching the back of the neck. Be sure that your shoulders don't round here and you don't lose your tall posture. Just the head is forward. Taking a breath here to feel that stretch through the back of your neck. And then we'll slowly rock the right ear over the right shoulder. So in a nice smooth motion with your breath as you inhale, we open to the right. As you exhale, drop the chin to the chest in a nice smooth movement. Inhale towards your left ear. Keeping the collarbone broad. Exhale, chin to chest. We'll inhale to the right again. Maybe you feel a little more open, a little more stretch and release. Exhale forward. Inhale to the left. Good, one more time to the right. We'll pause over here. Opening up through the chest, drop your shoulders, head is flexed to the right. We're going to walk the left hand out to the side, activate your fingertips. So seeing if you can feel this all the way down the arm, and you might play a little bit with the angle of your arm. Having it out to the side is great, maybe even behind you a little bit to feel that more through the chest. And then gently you're going to rock the head up and down slowly. So you think about tracing a line with your nose as you gaze down. Inhale as you gaze up. We're still opening through the side of the neck. And then you might play a little bit with the angle. Again, obviously, if anything is painful or uncomfortable, please don't do it. So you never want to work in pain. Always finding a place that's comfortable where you're feeling a nice release and stretch. So we inhale as we bring our head toward the sky. And we exhale as we look down, maybe over the shoulder, toward the floor. Take one more breath. Up and down. Good, then allow the chin to come forward. Bring the left hand in. And we'll inhale the left ear to the left shoulder. Again, check your posture. Make sure your shoulders are broad and collarbones nice and wide. Left ear is approximately over the left shoulder. We'll walk the right fingertips to the side. Maybe activate the fingers. Maybe switching the angle just a little bit to find a nice area of open stretch for you. And then we'll move with the breath again. So tracing a line with the nose. Nice smooth movements if you can. Exhaling down and inhaling up. Good, one more round here, one more breath. Gently rock the chin forward as you bring the hand in, and then we'll take the head upright. Just see how that feels. And then allow the hands to come by the side. We're going to shrug our shoulders up by the ears, squeeze them up by the ears in a big circle all the way down the back. So we're making circles with the shoulders. So inhale forward a little bit and up. Exhale down and back. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale back. Good. Soften the shoulders. Inhale, we're going to take the arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, float the arms down and then reach behind your back. You're going to clasp the hands behind the back. Draw the hands down and away. Open your chest. We're going to breathe in here, grow tall. And as you exhale, you're just going to reach forward. So you're going to hinge at your hips and bow forward. Maybe the forehead comes to the floor. Maybe it doesn't matter. You're going to reach the arms up and overhead. Just rinsing the shoulders. Only go as far as is comfortable for you. Find a couple breaths here. Slowly pull the arms back to lift your chest upright again. Releasing the hands. Inhale, sweep up. Big breath in. Exhale, float the arms down. And now you're going to take your hands behind you. Let your fingertips face toward your hips. So your hand is facing forward. And hands are under your shoulders. You're leaning back. And then we're going to press into the floor and draw the shoulders back and open and lift the sternum to the sky. Keep the neck long, don't drop the head back, but maybe look up a little bit toward the sky. So keeping the neck long, not crunching it, lift the sternum, open the chest and breathe here. One more breath. Good. Slowly come onto your fingertips as you lift yourself upright. Inhale, the arms come up again. And then exhale, lower. We're going to twist now. So you're going to take your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind you on the floor. So we're just going to use a little bit of the leg here to pull the leg and pull the arm as you lift up nice and tall. So don't slouch around. Lift up tall and just look back over your back shoulder. Nice easy twist here. We're going to take 3 breaths here into the ribs. Deep belly breaths. Good, release from your twist, come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Deep breath in, exhale, lower. Left hand to the right thigh, right hand behind your back. Lift up tall, gaze over your back shoulder, breathe into your belly here. Nice deep breaths. Nice, release back to center. One more time, inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, send energy past your fingers as you lower the arms. Nice work. I'm going to take my little cushion out. If you're sitting up on a cushion, we're going to come into tabletop on the hands and the knees. So you're welcome to use a cushion for your knees if you need. I find it nice. My knees are getting a little more sensitive the older I get. So I'm going to make this little cushion for my knees, and I'm going to come into tabletop here. So much nicer than the hard mat, hard floor. Okay, so we're going to brighten the fingers on the mat. So really important for beginner yoga, I find, is to make sure we're doing everything properly. So you really want to find good muscle memory and good alignment. So you want to brighten your hand and spread the fingers out as wide apart as you can. So your middle finger points straight ahead. And you want the hand so the shoulder is above the wrist. If you have any discomfort or problems with your wrist, like carpal tunnel or any nerve pain or anything like that, you're welcome to use fists so that you're not flexing your wrist and it doesn't cause any pain. So this is an option as well. So if you're comfortable with the hands open and spread apart, that's great. If not, you can take fists. And then you really want to activate the full surface of your hand into the floor. So you don't want to, round and cup the hand. You want to press everything down into the hand, including this big muscle between the thumb and index finger. And that's kind of a hard thing to do. I still have some struggles with that, but we really want to use the full surface of the hand so we're not just dumping into our wrists. Hopefully that makes sense. So activate the full surface of the hand, and then the inside of your elbow will rotate forward. So you can rotate the muscle around the bone. See, I'm not moving my hands. I'm rotating muscle around bone. And then I want to shine the inside of my elbow forward. And what that does is it draws the shoulder into the back. So I'm not having my shoulders by my ears. They're opening down the back. So I'm nice and broad in my chest. And then you also want to make sure for your hand position that you've micro-bent your elbow joint. So you'd never want to lock the joint so it's hyperextending. You want to keep it soft. So it doesn't look like much of a difference, but play with that a little bit too and see what I mean by micro-bending versus locking the joint. So make sure you're not locking your joints. And then the knees will be directly under the hip points and the tops of the feet rest on the floor. So I want to keep my gaze long. I don't want to drop my head and try not to look up at the screen too much if you can help it. And then keeping the neck long. I also want to engage my navel toward my spine so I'm not sagging and my pelvis isn't tipping forward. So you want to engage the navel so the back stays nice and flat and the pelvis stays neutral. We don't ever want to dump into the back body. So engage the navel toward the spine so you're not sagging in your back. Activating the hands and feet on the mat. And then from here, we'll do some cat-cow stretches to kind of just warm up and limber the spine. So we're going to inhale, drop the belly, send the tail and the crown to opposite corners of the room. And then as you exhale, you're going to round the spine, turn the tailbone and the head to the floor, and press up as you broaden your shoulder blades in the back. So the inhale, we open the chest, almost like the chest is moving through the shoulders. Exhale as you round. And as I inhale and open, I like to really think of length in the spine rather than just dropping the belly. So we're stretching everything away from each other. Hopefully that makes sense. Exhale, round. Good. A couple more times with your breath at your pace. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. And one more time. And exhale. And if you're new to the practice, I realize that can be a lot on the wrist. So we're going to take our big toes together and push back. Give your wrists a little rest. So take your forearms to the floor. You can relax your head down and just make some circles with the wrists. Go in both directions. And then play a little piano. So wiggle the fingers. Sending energy up to the forearms, through the arms, connects all the way into the neck. Good, release the hands and come back to your tabletop position. Now we're going to go a little side to side. So lateral flexion for the spine. So press again the mat away from you. Activate the full surface of your hand into the floor and the feet. And then again, engage the navel toward the spine. And then we're just going to flex side to side. So inhale one side, look over your shoulder. Bring your hip around so you're making a C curve with your spine. And then exhale to the other side. Again, important not to dump into the back. So just side to side, navel is still toward the spine here, looking back. Breathing as you move. Trying to kind of warm up all directions for our spine. And come back to center. So from your tabletop, we're going to come down to the mat into awkward S pose. I'm going to take my hands out a little bit wider. So if you're new to the practice, that's helpful. And then you're going to, again, make sure the eyes, the elbows are forward. Bend at the elbow, and I want you to actively engage your core. So think of this as almost like a push-up, right? A yoga push-up on the knees. Let's take the knees back just about an inch or two behind your hip points. So you've got a little more space there. You're going to hug the elbows in, bend at the elbow. Again, engage your core, and you're going to aim to plant your chest right between your hands. So a lot of energy there going on. And this is a weird position if you're new to the practice. So another way to come into this posture, if that was weird and too much for you, especially if you're a bustier woman, come down to your belly, tops the feet down. Bring your hands right next to your chest. Your chin is down. And then you're just going to tuck your toes and then inch your knees up like an inchworm as you lift your hips. So that's another way to come into this posture. Then from our awkward S pose, you're going to come all the way down to your belly. Notice my hands stay by my chest. Tops of the feet glued down, and inhale for low cobra here. So the neck stays long. You're gazing out in front of you. You're going to breathe into your belly. Feet stay glued to the floor. Tailbone tucks toward the heels a little bit, so you're elongating your lower spine. You don't want to feel any discomfort or pain in the back. If you do, you need to lower a little bit more and maybe tuck your tailbone toward your heels. That should help. Take one more belly breath here. And exhale, release. We're going to push up to our tabletop position with our knees behind our hips just a little bit. And then we're going to try to come into downward dog. So you're going to tuck your toes. And in downward dog, again, insides of the elbows forward, full surface of the hand on the mat. We're going to come up slow, and we're not going to try to straighten the legs right away. We're just going to pedal our feet. So you're going to walk your dog out. One leg bends and then the other. So you're in a nice inverted V here. Your heels probably won't touch the floor, and that's fine. Bending one leg and then the other. So the head is relaxed. My chest is open toward the floor. Insides of the elbows forward, shoulders back. Breathing through the nose as you pedal your feet. And then we'll slowly come into our full expression of downward dog. So, and I'm just going to talk through that just a moment. So balls of the feet, and then relax the heels. Notice my heels don't touch the mat, and that's fine. So that rotation I talked about in your arms of opening forward, your legs are going to internally rotate around the bone. So remember, we rotated our arms. So the legs, you can kind of play with that a little bit without moving the feet. We want to internally rotate the leg muscles, and that will help open up space in the lower back. Just something to think about. Don't worry about it if it doesn't make sense if you're new to the practice. Not a big deal, but just a subtle thing to think about as you begin to practice more. So from your downward dog, we're going to bend our knees, and we're just going to take a slow stroll. I'm going to get my little blanket out of the way. So come all the way up to the front of your mat into a standing forward bend. So measuring about 2 fists between your feet, and your hands come down to the mat. So you can bend your knees as much as you need so your hands can touch down. If you're here and you're like hanging, bend your knees and let your hands come down. And then draw the forehead toward the shins here. So it doesn't matter how bent the knees are. It can be pretty bent or straight. Just notice where you are. If you're tight, that's okay. That's why you're here. Shake your head out a little yes and no. Just letting anything, any tension start to roll off the back into the earth. One more breath. And then we're going to hang forward. So just let the arms dangle, head is heavy. You're going to find even weight on all 4 corners of both feet. So from here, you're going to tilt your tailbone toward the floor
and dangle as you roll yourself up nice and slow, stacking one vertebra at a time on the next.
When you get to the top, we're going to bring our shoulders up by our ears and down the back to open the chest. So from here, this is mountain pose. Shoulders are above hips or above heels. Activate your core so you're not just hanging out and slouching. So we want to open the chest, heavy suitcases in the hands, arms active, legs active, lifting the quad muscle away from the knee a little bit. And again, don't lock the knees. So here we are, mountain pose. We're just going to take a couple half salutes. So you're going to inhale, reach the arms back behind you so you stretch the chest. Lift up tall. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, swan dive, hinge at your hip and come forward. Lower down. Inhale, we're going to take the legs, hands on top of the thighs, and lengthen our spine halfway to the floor, so parallel. So you can get a little bit of activity in the legs, maybe open the chest and draw the elbows back a little bit to find length in your spine. Keep the neck long, looking on the floor in front of you. And then exhale as you fold again, bending your knees as much as you need. From here, we're going to roll up. Inhale. Roll up to stand. Come to mountain pose. Exhale. Inhale, reach back, sweep up. Deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive, forward bend. Inhale, come into your flat back, lengthen your spine. And exhale as you melt into forward fold. Each time here, maybe you're opening the knees a tiny bit. We'll roll ourselves up, nice and slow. Tuck your chin. Shrug your shoulders as you open the chest. Exhaling. One more time, reach back. Inhale. Stretching up. Exhale, fold, swan dive, forward bend. Inhale to your flat back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold again. And roll yourself up. Inhale. So those are called half sun salutations. So a nice way to just sort of warm up, get the energy moving through the body, starting to warm up the hamstrings. Then we'll try the full sun salutation. So follow along as best you can. Don't worry about it if it's new to you and difficult. It's all good. Just trying is great. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. We'll inhale into flat back again. And exhale, forward bend. We're going to plant the hands next to the feet. Again, the knees can be as bent as you need. Forehead tucks. And then we're going to take a giant step back with the right leg. So step your right leg back as far as you can. You're going to drop your back knee. Uncurl your back toes. So now make sure your front knee is above the heel. So you've got a nice right angle there. You're welcome to use blocks if you have them, or props if you need, anytime in the practice. So you could use blocks here if it's difficult to come down this far. It's nice to create a little space in the chest so you're not collapsing, keeping the spine nice and long. And then we're going to activate our legs toward the midline. So we're going to imagine our legs are scissors, and we're going to scissor them a little bit to activate the inner thighs as we come up. So we're creating lift by doing that. We're lifting up out of the back, scissoring the legs. You want your pelvis to be nice and neutral, so you don't want to dump the pelvis forward, tuck your tailbone just a little bit. And then optional is to bring the arms up. Inhale. Soften your shoulders here, so try not to hike the shoulders by the ears. Keep them grounded. Take a breath in. And then exhale, float your hands down. We're going to frame the foot again to either your blocks or the floor. And then we're going to walk back with our hands as we pull our front toes toward our face, lift the foot off the floor, and open the chest. Stretching this front hamstring, the leg does not have to be straight. Hips are nice and even in the back. Breathe in. Exhale, slowly come forward as you plant your hands. Right next, back to home base. Tuck your back toes and lift the back knee.
We're going to take our hips high and step the left foot back to meet your right in downward dog. Breath here. On your next inhale, we're just going to, hopefully from here, you can just shift into plank position without having to move your hands or feet around. So that's a good way to know if your downward dog is the right position. So I'm just going to float my shoulders above my wrists. So now I'm in a nice straight line. Notice my hips are in line with my shoulders and I'm pressing energy through my heels. We're going to drop the knees again here. So we're coming back down to our awkward S pose. Plant your chest, engage your core as you lower down. Elbows stay close. Awkward S. Slide the legs out underneath, tops of the feet. Press down, inhale for low cobra. Keep the gaze long, keep the neck loose, shoulders back. Feet glued. Breathe into your belly here. Good. Take your chin and chest down to the floor and tuck your toes. And we're going to push up to tabletop and then up to downward dog. Good. From your downward dog, we're going to stroll ourselves all the way back up to forward bend. So walk yourself up and fold over the legs. Inhale as you roll up. Shrug your shoulders, open the chest. And then inhale, sweep up again. Big breath in, exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, come into that flat back posture. Hands on the thighs, and exhale, bow down. Hands will plant. We'll take a giant step back, this time with our left leg. Make sure you've got that nice right angle here. Drop your back knee, uncurl your toes. You're also welcome to use the cushion under your knee here if you need. Check heel to arch alignment. Check. I've done this so many times, I'm like a broken record. Knee over the heel. I was saying something for a different posture. Okay, scissor action with the legs again. Remember, we scissor them toward the midline and then come up. Make sure your shoulders are above your hips and your pelvis is nice and neutral. Inhale, the arms rise. Soften your shoulders. Take a breath. Breathe in. Exhale, float the hands down. We're going to frame that front foot. And again, we're going to walk our hands back, lift the toes toward the face, coming into half monkey. So hips are nice and even, stretching this front hamstring. Breathe here. Good. Slowly exhale as you plant the foot down. Walk your hands back to home base. Tuck your back toes as you lift the back knee and lift the hips high, stepping back to downward dog. Good. Again, we'll float into plank pose, shoulders above the wrists. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Slide into your cobra, open the chest. And exhale, float back, downward dog. You're welcome to come through tabletop as well. Bending the knees as you gaze forward. You can walk yourself back up or you can step up if you prefer. Be mindful of how you're moving. Fold over the legs and we'll rise up. Inhale, slowly rise. Shrug your shoulders and open your chest. So we're going to do one more round together. We'll do it a little faster, and I'm not going to do the half monkey this time, so we'll make it a little shorter. That was kind of a modification anyway for our sun salute. So for sun salutes, we're going to try to move with our breath, so take your time. If you need a break anytime, feel free to do that. You don't have to keep up. We'll just try to coordinate with our breath a little bit. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg back. Dropping the knee, uncurl the toes.
As you breathe in, rise up. Exhale, float the hands down. Good. Tuck the back toes, lift the knees, step back, downward dog. Inhale for plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin come down. Inhale for low cobra. Take another breath in cobra. We'll release on our exhale and float back to downward dog. Good, bending your knees as you gaze forward. You can walk or step it up. So I'll demonstrate stepping up. So I'm going to bend my knees and gaze forward, and I'm going to try to use my core strength to step my right foot up and then my left. That's optional. You can always walk up. Fold over the legs. Inhale, rise. Shrug your shoulders as you open your chest. Back to your mountain pose. We'll inhale, reach. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Getting our heart rate up just a little bit. Plant your hands, giant step back this time with the left leg. Dropping the knee, uncurl the toes. Arms rise, scissor the legs, don't forget that part. Soften your shoulders. Breathe in. And exhale, float the hands down. Frame the foot. Tuck your back toes, lift the knee and lift the hips. Stepping back, downward dog. Inhaling into plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale for cobra. Breathe in. Another breath here. Good. Exhale, releasing down. Again, you can come through tabletop or straight back, downward dog. And then as you inhale, we'll make our way to the front of the mat, either stepping or walking, up to you. Again, mindfulness as you move, fold over the legs. Maybe they're a little more open at this point, hopefully. Inhale, roll up. Good, shrug your shoulders and open your chest. Standing in your mountain pose, let's take a little side stretch here. Inhale, reach up. Grab one wrist with one hand and stretch up and over to the side. So getting this nice stretch to the whole side body. Inhale through center, switch the grasp, reach up and over. Inhale, reach up, exhale, float the arms down by the side, shrug your shoulders and open your chest. Good, settling the shoulders. And let's do we're gonna do a little bit of standing postures. So from your mountain pose, you're gonna step your right foot back. And then you're gonna check heel to arch alignment is a good alignment, or you can do heel to heel. But you want a pretty broad stance. We're gonna do warrior two. So this back foot is perpendicular to my front heel. My hips face the long edge of the mat, and I'm nice and tall here. I'm gonna send my arms out east-west, soften the shoulders. You can always turn your palms up too to make sure the shoulders aren't hunching up by the ears. That's a nice way to do that. Or you can extend through your fingertips. So I'm gonna gaze to my left hand. To come into warrior two, I'm just gonna bend my left knee. So I'm keeping my torso stacked, my shoulders above the hips. You can adjust your stance if you need. I'm gonna make it a little bit wider so I can come down a little bit lower. And then you wanna make sure you can see your big toe and your peripheral vision. So the knee is wide and the shoulders are soft. Warrior two. You wanna activate the outer edge of your back foot into the floor as well. So you're not collapsing on the arch or in the leg. Lots of strength here. Breathe in warrior two. So we're still engaging our core. Our pelvis is still nice and neutral. Soft shoulders, deep breaths. Take one more breath here, warrior two. Good, lower the arms as you straighten through that front leg. So you're gonna pivot your back foot in and turn your other foot out. So check that alignment. Hips are gonna face the long edge of the mat. Warrior two on this side. So the arms out, east-west, soften the shoulders, gaze to the right. Breathe in. Find length and space. As you're ready, bend the front knee. Again, make sure it doesn't move past your heel. Engage the outer edge of your back foot. Shoulders stay stacked above the hips. Gaze to the right, breathe. Nice and deep. Core is active, pelvis is neutral. I've got a kitty outside telling me it's dinner time. Distracting. Okay, lower the arms and straighten that leg. Turn that foot in. And then while we're here, we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So feet are parallel now. And maybe the toes are even a little bit pigeon-toed. So again, we want the pelvis nice and neutral, shoulders above the hips. So take your hands, thumbs around the waist, and so that the fingers are kind of pointing down, supporting your lower back. So my thumbs wrap, my hands, fingers support the low back. I'm going to draw the elbows back behind me to lift the sternum. So again, my pelvis is neutral, and I'm just lifting the sternum toward the sky a little bit. Breathe in. As you're ready, nice firm footing, you're going to hinge at the hip, halfway down. So if you're using blocks, this might be a place you want to use your blocks. Keeping the spine nice and long, gaze toward the floor, releasing one hand at a time to your blocks for the mat or the floor, and lengthen here. So I'm using fingertips to give myself a little more space. You can use blocks if you need, if you have them. You don't have to. You can always use books, or if you've got something else handy, that's fine. So breathe here, standing wide-legged forward fold. Nice long spine, gaze is long in front of you. And then we're going to do a little twist. So I'm going to take my left hand in front of my face on the floor or on a block, and I'm going to pull a bow and arrow up with my right arm. So use your arm to pull up and open the chest. So the fingers open, turning on your spine. You can come onto fingertips here if you want. Breathe into your chest. Maybe turning the torso open a little bit more if you're comfortable. Exhale as you bring the right hand down to come where the left hand is. We'll take the other side. So left arm pulls a bow and arrow up. And reach up, float the fingers open. Maybe fingertips here, open the chest, breathe here. Feet are still nice and firm. Good, exhale, slowly come down with your hands. Taking them nice and wide apart. And then I'm gonna bend my left leg, and I'm gonna walk my hands to my left ankle. So they're sort of around that left foot. Stretching on this inner thigh, keeping both feet nice and flat. I'm going to walk my hands in a crab walk to the other side, bending the right leg, and the hands come to that side. So your feet stay flat. You should feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh here. And then we'll go side to side. So this is a nice, I love this one to do sort of like a nice meditative flow with your breath. Be careful with your knees. If this bothers your knees in any way, then don't do it. One more time, side to side. Then we'll come back to bring our hands under our shoulders. Open your chest. And then make sure your feet are parallel here. And we're going to take one hand at a time to the back. So firm the footing, one hand at a time to the back, and then we'll hinge ourselves up. We're going to heel toe the feet to the center of the mat, coming back to mountain pose. Shake out your legs a little bit.
Take a nice deep breath. And then we're going to take a balance pose. So let's do the tree. So for balance, you always want to make sure you can fix your gaze anywhere on the floor that's not going to move. So don't look at a shadow, maybe a notch in your carpet or your tile, just something to focus on with your vision in front of you so it's not a strain for the neck. And then you're going to shift your weight to your standing leg to start. So you can start on either side. I'm going to start on my left leg. As I shift the weight, I'm going to make sure I've micro bent that knee joint so I'm not locking the knee. So a nice soft bend there, but the leg is pretty straight. You're going to take the other sole of the foot, fix your gaze, breathe, don't forget to breathe. You're going to take the other sole of your foot to the ankle with the big toe down for balance. You can use the calf or you can use the thigh. So what you don't want to do is like shift the hips, right? You don't want to be here. So keep the hips nice and even, and then taking the foot anywhere on the leg that's comfortable for you. So it doesn't matter. Finding that action again toward the midline. Remember how we scissored our legs? So we're thinking about pressing the leg and the foot together at the midline. That will create lift. Hands come to the heart. And you never want to use your knee. And then you can take your arms up wherever you want. And you want to keep breathing. Keep your gaze nice and soft. And if you fall out, no worries. You just start again. It's all about the practice, right? So let's take one more breath together here in your tree. And slowly take your hands down to your chest and release the leg and then shake it out a little bit. So every day is pretty different with balance, I find, so try not to get frustrated with yourself. It's all good, it's all practice. So again, we'll start in the mountain pose, and I'm gonna shift my weight to my other leg, micro bend the joint. Fix your gaze whenever you feel ready, ankle, calf, or thigh. Try not to use your knee. You never wanna put lateral pressure on the knee. Keeping the hips even, activate the foot and the leg toward the midline, hands to heart. And then reach your arms wherever you'd like. Keep your shoulders soft. No straining the neck or shoulders. Breathe. And then spread your, I don't know if you can see my hands, spread your fingers out so they're nice and open. Good, one more breath. We'll slowly bring the hands down to the chest, releasing the foot. Back to mountain pose and just shake it out a little bit. So let's come back to the front of the mat. We're going to come all the way down to the ground. So just come all the way down to your mat. Stretch your legs out in front of you. We're going to lift the flesh away from our sitting bones. Draw your toes toward your face as you press the legs down. We're going to unfurl to the back of the mat, so take your time. It's nice to kind of challenge your core strength by keeping your feet glued to the floor, your heels down, and then unfurl one vertebra at a time. So it takes a lot of strength. The slower you go, the harder it will be, but using your core strength to lower down to the mat, if you can. If you can't, no worries, just come all the way to your back. Good, so once you get to your back, we're going to draw the right knee into the chest. Wrap around the shin, squeeze the knee in to stretch the lower back. So your left leg is active on the mat, and then we're going to make some big circles with our toe. Go in both directions. Squeeze that knee in. Breathe in. And as you're ready, we're going to pull the bent leg across the body in a nice, easy twist. So we're reclining twist here. Right arm can reach out, palm down from the shoulder. And then if you're comfortable, you can turn your gaze to your right extended arm. Breathe in your twist. And see if you can maybe soften that right shoulder a little bit. As you stretch through this outer hip. Good, slowly come back to center. We're going to squeeze that knee in one more time. And send the leg out. We'll take the left knee into the chest. Again, wrap around the shins, squeeze the knee in, and make some big circles with your toe, just to loosen up the ankle joint. Opposite direction a few times. Squeezing the knee in, breathe in. As you exhale, draw the leg across your body, over to the side, and then the left arm palm down. Gaze to the left if that's comfortable for you. Breathe here, softening the shoulder. Nice deep breaths in your twist. Twists are so great for the spine, but also for massaging the internal organs as we breathe, bringing blood flow to them so that they function at a more optimal level. Good. Slowly come back, bring that knee into the chest. And then you're going to bring your right knee in to meet your left. So both knees are in. And you're just going to make some circles on your back, massaging the sacrum. Reverse your circles. Great, squeeze the knees into the chest. And then you're gonna reach down for maybe the ankles. If you can grab the big toes with your first two fingers, thumb on top, that's great. If not, no worries, you can hold the ankles. You can even hold the thighs. So we're gonna do happy baby. You can hold the inside or the outside of the foot, anything that works for you. What you don't wanna do is lift the neck. So if the neck is lifted because you're real tight, give yourself a little prop under your head. And then you're gonna take your legs wide apart. Tops of the thighs toward the floor, feet toward the sky. You want to draw the tailbone down toward the floor as well, shoulder blades pulling down, and maybe a little resistance in the feet so you can really feel that hip opener. Breathe in your happy baby. Maybe a small little movement side to side. Just make sure you're not straining the neck and that the tailbone stays down. One more breath. Nice. Slowly bring your feet together. Soles of the feet come together to touch. And then release the legs down to the floor. You can hold underneath your thighs for support for reclined cobbler's pose. So if you feel like this is easy and you want more of a stretch in the inner thigh, you can rest the hands on top. You can use props underneath if it's too much. So listen to your body. See if you can feel the connection of all 10 toes touching and the soles of the feet touching. Creating a nice circuit of energy in the body. And take a couple breaths here. It's a great posture just to let gravity kind of open the inner thigh and the hips and the pelvis. One more deep yogic breath. And then slowly take your hands underneath your legs for support as you slowly bring the knees back up. So from here, we're going to find our final resting position. If you have any tension in your lower back, you can keep the feet on the floor and the knees bent. You can walk your feet out to the edges of your mat and let the knees come toward the midline. Kind of shimmy around on your back a little bit and relax. If your lower back feels really comfortable, you can stretch your legs out on the mat, nice and long, and let the feet just flop out and be at least a mat width apart. So wherever you are with the legs, we're going to tuck the shoulder blades underneath the chest to open the heart, keeping the shoulders moving down away from the ears. Make sure your neck is neutral, using a blanket if you need underneath your head. Allow the palms to face the sky and allow your fingertips to curl toward the palm as they relax. You don't want to hold your fingers open, just let them relax. Rock the head again side to side, and then bring your head back to center in a nice neutral position. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and we're going to exhale with the lion's breath, sigh it out. Sticking your tongue out, letting everything go. So as you're relaxing on your back, I'm going to guide you through your body so you can completely let go. So we're going to start with the soles of the feet and the ankles. Notice if you're holding any tension in the feet and the ankles, and just relax and let go. Relaxing through the calves and the shins and the knees. Scanning for any tension in those areas. Breathe in nice and deep. And completely relax and let go. Scanning in through the thighs, the quadriceps and the hamstrings, into the hips and the pelvis. Bringing the breath to those areas nice and deep. And as you exhale, just relax and let go. Scanning into the abdomen and the chest, the whole torso, the lower back and the middle back and the upper back. Taking a nice deep breath in, bringing oxygen and blood to those tissues. And just relax and let go as you breathe out, growing heavier and heavier in the body. Bringing awareness into the palms, arms, and shoulders. Bringing a nice deep breath into those tissues, surrounding it with oxygen and blood. And exhale as you completely relax the palms, arms, and shoulders, letting go. Bringing awareness into the neck and the throat, your jaw, your tongue, and your cheeks, your eyelids, your eyebrows, and your temples, your forehead and your scalp. Take a nice deep breath in as you bring fresh oxygen and blood to all those tissues. And exhale as you completely relax and let go. Feeling your entire body completely relax. Relax, relax, relax.
And slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head a little side to side. And if your knees aren't already bent, go ahead and bend them and place your feet on the floor. We'll roll onto the right side of our body for a moment, noticing any changes in body and mind, and recalling any intention you may have set for your practice today. And slowly, as you're ready, you're going to use your left hand to push yourself back up to a comfortable seat, coming into easy pose, sitting up on your cushion if you need. Sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to reach the arms out as we take a nice deep breath in, sweep the arms up. Seal your hands at the top and lower them down to your heart as you exhale and bow to yourself with gratitude for practicing today. We'll bow to each other. Namaste. As always, I welcome your feedback. If you have any requests or suggestions for future practices, please let me know. Thank you.